Gary, I'm so excited to be here with you today because roofing is a huge part of the overall aesthetic of a home that people maybe don't realize how important it is.
It's true. Most people don't really consider the roof part of the aesthetic, but when it looks great, then they'll notice it.
And you've been in the industry for 30 years?
Yeah, I've been roofing 30 years, actually working initially, obviously, training, developing my skill, and then opening my own company. So when we first started in the industry, we were mostly installing a T-lock shingle. Most people don't even know what that is anymore, so that's been phased out.
Right. What is a T-lock shingle?
Yeah, so basically it's an asphalt shingle which had an organic mat, basically paper.
Right.
And so the waterproofing agent was asphalt with a granulated surface. That still exists today, except the core is fiberglass, commonly known as a fiberglass laminate shingle. That's the most common shingle in the industry.
Comes in lots of different colors. And
yeah, so that's what most people are familiar with.
Right.
But we have seen the West Coast look trying to be maintained using cedar.
Okay, like an actual cedar shake.
An actual piece of cedar shake, correct.
Right.
So those shakes, unfortunately, second growth wood is the only thing that's available now, and those deteriorate at less than half what they used to.
And the West Coast weather is very, very harsh on them.
Very, very harsh. So it's the freeze-thaw cycle that takes place. A lot of rain, of course. The UVs, of course, draw out the oils, breaks it down. And so because of that, we looked at developing a better product specifically to replace that look rather than relying upon the second growth cedar for people's installations. And so North America wide, the trend is towards metal. Never used to be that way, but they're pushing now 1 out of 10 roofs between commercial and residential are now metal instead of asphalt shingle or alternative synthetics, which are also making their way into the marketplace.
And the metal is just so durable, correct?
Durable, proven in the industry. And so these synthetics that they're coming out with, some of them are great, but they're still unproven.
Right.
So what we've done is combined between 26 gauge and 22 gauge metal with an EPS filler. Both of those products, both of those have been in the industry for well over 50 years and are used right across the board, across North America, hot climates, cold climates, doesn't matter.
Being in the industry and seeing what works, what fails, that sort of thing, you also really saw a gap where something needs to fill it, a better product that looks great, that you're manufacturing yourself. Right.
So we engineered the product basically to be identical to a piece of cedar.
Right.
So it not only looks like a piece of cedar, it's installed in the same fashion. So from a technical installation standpoint, much easier than a lot of the other products that have made their way into the marketplace. And so because of that, it's going to make it easier for the roofing companies, which are going to be installing the product, to have their crews do it rather than have to retrain them with specialty installation techniques and tools. So none of that's required with this install.
And what does the product consist of? How do you make it?
So basically we start off with a metal blank, and that is formed into a shake pan and then an EPS filler that then gets placed inside of it, and that becomes the shake. And so with that EPS filler, you now have the same thermal properties as a piece of cedar. So that's what it was. One of the advantages of cedar was kept the building fairly cool.
Right.
And this does the same thing. And it's even more enhanced because of the reflectivity of the PVDF paint coating that's on that 24 gauge galvalume.
So the heat isn't getting in or out when it shouldn't be.
Exactly. So rather than heating up your attic space, it's keeping it at a relative temperature.
Right.
And conversely, when you have colder temperatures, when people crank up the heat and you have heat transfer from an attic into the attic space, causing melting and then freezing at the eave, which typically is referred to as ice damming, that's not happening either. So we're solving numerous multiple problems with this product, not only looking great, but functioning in an outstanding fashion.
Well, and as well as the viewers do, as a designer, I like things that look great and really add to the aesthetic of the home. Yeah. With this, there are so many different finishes and colors and the wood look that you can get, yet it's something that's going to stand the test of time and be so durable.
Absolutely. So we started off as VanGalee FirstShake. So wanted to duplicate the shake look.
Right.
But it can also look like slate. And so we had the VanGalee FirstSlate as well. So you can get that in solid colors as well as in whatever patterns or designs that you would specify as a designer. You can even go to stainless steel which is, of course, a completely permanent roof system.
And what I love about it is that you've been in the industry, you've been in the trenches, you have seen it, you know it's going to stand the test of time. You're not just an engineer, but you're not just somebody creating this product. You know this is going to work because you and your crew are installing it.
Exactly. So as you mentioned, I'm not a certified engineer, but our family has a strong engineering background. And so progressively, we've come sort of trending towards where we are now with this modern day look, which is going to deliver outstanding value to the client and to the industry. It's going to save the industry and the insurance industry tons of money because it can handle the wind, it can handle the hail, it can handle fire. It's eco-friendly. Everything in this product, even after the 100 years, is fully recyclable. The EPS is recyclable, and of course the steel is recyclable.
Well, thank you so much for sharing this with us today.
Sure. My pleasure.